Hey everybody, my name is Joe. This is Psych Made Simple, and this is where we cover everything related to psychology, personality, anything related to those topics, anything you want to learn about, put it in the comments. I'll be happy to make a video about it. If you like this kind of content, please click like on the video if you enjoy it and subscribe to the channel to get some more content like this. Today we're actually going to be talking about an intersection of psychology, personality, and video games, which is another thing I really enjoy. And we're going to look through this gamer motivation profile. So this is something I've found, and it kind of is almost similar to like personality traits in, just general psychology, but specifically for your gamer profile. So in a sense, like what motivates you to play games? What are the types of games that you enjoy? And in this video, we're going to walk through and talk through the actual model and the different kind of gamer motivation traits that they found, and how they kind of link it to the different general personality traits, the big 5 traits. And in another video today, I'm actually going to take the survey, so you can watch me take the survey, and we can kind of look at my own gaming profile together, and let me know in the comments in either of the videos if you take the profile and what you got. So let's get right into it. It's called the Gamer Motivation Profiles by Quantic Foundry. It says 400,000 gamers on this, but I think on the website it's up to like 2.5 million. So anyone can take the survey online, and they analyze the data, kind of have used factor analysis, which is, exactly what in personality psychology they use to identify the big 5 personality traits. And they came up with some questions based on previous research. So they did all the best practices. They came up with questions based on previous research, had some factors that they had in mind, but used factor analysis to kind of see which different questions kind of fit together with one another and kind of clustered into different groups, and that's how they came up with these different gamer motivations. So the 6 different motivations are action, social, mastery, achievement, immersion, and creativity. And within each of those, they have 2 different, you could say, facets similar to the big 5 personality traits. So for example, with the big 5, that's you can use ocean to remember the 5 different personality traits. So there's openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So one example of the traits and some facets related to that would be extroversion, where a lot of times we think about extroversion as just that social element, right? And people who are extroverted typically enjoy social interactions more than people who are introverted. Another aspect of extroversion that kind of, they've found by asking a lot of questions about all these different traits, they found that these kind of cluster together. Another thing that fits in with extroversion is dominance. So this often manifests socially, right, where you might be the one who leads and talks the most in conversations. So sociability and dominance might be 2 different facets of extroversion. And in this case, among their 6 different motivations that they found, there's 2 different facets for each of those. So for example, for social, I thought this one was interesting, that people who enjoy the social aspect of games, sometimes that's more so focusing on the competition, maybe people who like competitive games. And there's also that community element, so that might be, co-op games. I thought that was really cool to kind of look at the different facets of each of these different traits or motivations. And yeah, I think this is really cool. They come up with different, examples of games that are high in each of the different facets. So for example, if we look at this competition, and this goes back to that social trait that we were talking about, a high competition social would be all these, Call of Duty, League of Legends, these type games that are really focused on that PvP element. And then the community would be Final Fantasy 14, probably World of Warcraft could be in here, a lot of the different MMOs that are really focused on like grouping up, different things like that. Oh, and another thing that I forgot to mention earlier is that so there's the different facets that group into the different traits. And then even among that, there's different higher level motivations. That's a group of 2 of the different traits that they found hang together as well. So if you did the factor analysis and set it so that there were 3 factors, then this is what you would find. So the action and the social kind of go together. Mastery and achievement, that's pretty understandable. Those kind of go together. And then immersion and creativity go together as well. There's also this 30-minute video on here that's kind of a talk through of all the data that they go in, that they kind of explain. And this is at the point where there's like 250,000 people. But it's a really interesting talk. So if you want to watch it, I would encourage you to go to this website, or I'm sure you can find it on YouTube as well. And when I watched through it, one thing I wanted to point out is those clusters that I talked about, they correlate them to different personality traits. So I thought this was pretty interesting. So for example, immersion and discovery, they have different kind of those sub-facet motivations are fantasy, story, design, and discovery. So that goes into this immersion and creativity kind of bigger cluster. And with those, they found that they correlated pretty decently with openness, 0.21, 0.21. So that means there's this 0.21 correlation. So the correlation could be anywhere between -1 and +1. And if it's 0, that means there's like no connection at all between the variables. 0.21, that's a pretty decent correlation. Now, I do just want to point out though, I mean, they are listing some correlations that are not very strong. So they talk a lot about how extroversion is linked to this action social cluster. But I will say that this one was not even, I assume, a significant correlation, or if it was significant, it was really low. Excitement, competition, community, that's like 0.2, 0.15, 0.13. Those aren't really the strongest correlations. This one, actually, they link it to conscientiousness, but there's only one that they even put on here because it was strong enough to acknowledge. So these other correlations might be like 0.03 or something, and it's just not even worth listing. So they do kind of make it a little bit of a stretch, I would say. If these were more like 0.4 correlations or something like that, that would be like, oh wow, there's a clear link between these gamer motivations and this personality trait. But I think it's a little bit, stretching based on the strength of the correlations that they're getting. It's not that it's not there, because they have a lot of data aggregated, right? So we can be pretty confident that these 0.2 or so correlations are accurate, but it's just going to show that it's not like these things are so clear that if you're high on openness in the big five, you're clearly going to be high on immersion discovery, or over here they call it immersion creativity. It's not quite that clear because they're not super strong. They don't share a lot of common variance, or if you will, like people who are strong in one, it's not super clear that they're going to be strong in the other one. So yeah, anyways, I thought this was really interesting. And as I said, in the next video, I'm going to take the quiz myself. So click over to that. I'm going to make it a card. So over here on the other corner of the video, I bet you can click a little card right now and see me take the quiz. So yeah, I encourage you to do that after that. And let me know in the comments if you take the quiz yourself and if you find anything interesting or just want to share your motivation. All right, hope you enjoyed this video and have a great rest of your day.